Welcome everybody to the Pirate Skills Meetup. This is the last one of the B2B series, this time about optimizing your B2B lead generation. And B2B lead generation has been the theme of the past 6 meetups. And this is the last one, wrapping it all up. So if you haven't seen the other ones, watch this one first and then head back to dive into specifics, how to generate traffic, how to grow your LinkedIn network, how to use Google Tag Manager for traffic, how to set up your LinkedIn ads and all that kind of juice. But today, we assume that you already got something up and running, but it's not always working. I'm going to show you today how to find the bottlenecks. I'm going to show you how to increase the engagement on your ads or organic posts, how to raise the sign-up rate on your landing page, and how to optimize the email sequence that should follow after you have gathered a lead, and how to convert that lead into a sale. And at the end, of course, we have our B2B Q&A session where you can ask your questions. All right, so in case you don't know me, I'm Ben. I'm a founder myself since 2008. And now I feel most at home with the word a growth marketer. I'm super excited about psychology, business, and IT. And this is like the triangle where I live in the most. And I started this Pirate Skills Meetup series 4.5 years ago. And since then, we are just sharing nerdy marketing knowledge with you and getting your ideas in as well and sharing those with the community so we as founders and marketers can become better over time. If you want to connect, I'm pretty much everywhere at Ben Zofiani, and hit me up on LinkedIn and just let's chat a bit over there. So the first topic is finding your bottleneck. This mindset of really drilling down, visualizing your conversion funnel when you're gathering B2B leads is the absolute key and the first step you have to do. And in order to make this less abstract, we usually take in a case study. The case study from the last 6 meetups was Monday Rocks. Monday Rocks is an app that helps you to build successful teams and to manage the teamwork and the different personality styles within a team. It's a very cool app that you can check out at monday.rocks. So they are looking for leads, team leaders, HR managers, CEOs, and they have a lead generation funnel. And let's look at the results from a typical week at the moment. Let's say we are spending $456 on LinkedIn ads, and the CPC is at €4.52. We get 101 landing page visitors. We just get 1 lead, and we think, dang, 1 lead for 456, that's just too damn expensive. And that gives us this moment of, I've set everything up. I've got the campaigns, I got the landing page, I got the lead magnet, I got the email stuff. Why is this not working yet? And I promise you, this is the reality not only for teams that are starting to set this up, but every single time when you start a new channel, start a new lead magnet, even if you already have a successful up and running lead generation tool. And Monday Rocks has a great business going on already. They have a very successful consulting and sales oriented funnel. But what they wanted to get really under control is an inbound lead gen funnel that they can rely on, that gets people familiar with their brand, with their software, and then later maybe converts them into consulting, if at all. So this is what we have been trying to build. Now, if you look at those numbers, you can think, what could be wrong here? And I want to show you just the points where I think, in most cases, and of course not just with Monday Rocks, where things can go wrong. So if you imagine where this journey starts for the user, they see an ad on a LinkedIn live stream, on a LinkedIn live newsfeed, and then they come to a landing page. So the first point of failure could be maybe the ad campaigns were wrong, or the campaign structure was set up. Here you can see a screenshot from live LinkedIn ads that fed this funnel for a while. 3 different ads. Maybe they were not the right ads. Maybe the campaign goal was not set up right. if you're interested in learning more about LinkedIn ads, this was the meetup. I think this was the last meetup where we talked about a traffic generation in the context of B2B lead generation. Just go back to the last meetup and you can learn much about that. So, but this is one of the earliest phases where stuff can go wrong. And what do I see usually? I see that conversion tracking is not installed. That means that I generate traffic, but I cannot see in the ads manager, and it doesn't matter if it's LinkedIn ads or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Yeah. You can't see what your ads are actually doing. You just see clicks, and this is blindsiding you. Even in this era of GDPR, where you have to get consent from your users, it's still absolutely valid that you get like a 40-50% opt-in rate if you do a good cookie banner. So looking there is a first space in the general campaign setup. The second space I would look at, and actually this is the case not only in the B2B realm, but especially in the B2C realm, is that the ads are just not good enough. Yeah, maybe they are just too boring. In this case, there's actually a really non-boring ad. Yeah, check it out in the LinkedIn feed. If you go to their profile, this video is actually quite hilarious. So, but it's not only about is the video engaging, but does it activate users to take the next action, which is clicking the button that leads them to the next landing page. So, talking about the landing page, maybe that landing page sucks and it just doesn't convert. If you want to check out the landing page from Monday Rocks that Sophie built, that is absolutely one good ass landing page. It's something that has great design, that has good call to actions. I really like this. We have A/B testing running on it. So, but still, in the example numbers I showed you, out of 100 people, 1 person converts. Yeah, so something might not be right here. What is the call to action on there? Am I asking maybe too much? In this case, what I'm asking people to do is to schedule a call. So maybe that's too much of a commitment for the beginning. Scheduling a call is done here with Calendly. Maybe the scheduling tool is not working the way the user expects, or the available appointments just don't fit in their schedule. You really have to look at every step of the funnel where something could go wrong. Yeah, and this is how you can identify the bottleneck. Let me just summarize that. So how would I go about identifying the bottleneck in my own B2B lead generation funnel? So first of all, I need this moment of, hey, why is this not working? Yeah, if everything is running fine, good. Just keep optimizing, set up new funnels, diversify. That is cool. But if you have that moment, hey, why is this not working? The next step is, in my case, always to really completely list every single step a user has to do. Because it does not matter if you optimize the sign-up rate by 10% or the number of people at the end who actually schedule a call by 10%. You will still get 10% more leads overall. You look at the complete list and understand your options, then you can choose the target that is easiest to solve. So what else do you need? Yeah, after you have listed the steps, you should look at your numbers. Yeah, I wrote specifically like guesstimating your numbers, because many people have a problem here that they do not even know the correct numbers. How many people have reached that step in the funnel? This is what I talked about in the Google Tag Manager meetup 2 meetups ago. I'm going to go back to that. But if you don't know, at least guesstimate. That is a mixture of guessing and estimating. Guesstimate your numbers for every single step of the funnel, and then you see percentage-wise, where do most people drop off? 100 people start here, 1 person ends up here. And where do people get lost most? And this is the place where you have the biggest weakness. And identifying those weaknesses and being honest with yourself, what is working, what is not working, that is absolutely fundamental here. And then, this is a biggie, making a decision to define just one focus area for the next time, for the next future. And you can do all kinds of stuff in your funnel. A funnel is a complex beast. As I said, it involves traffic generation, the landing page, some call scheduling, your CRM, email sequences, but you have to decide where's the biggest weakness that I can fix the fastest. So, and making that decision really focuses your efforts. And this is where I see a lot of people fail. They try to do all kinds of stuff. It can work, but you have much faster progress and a feeling of accomplishment if you just solve one problem after another. So that's the summary here. Let's look at the numbers from the beginning. And looking at these, how would you decide? What is the biggest bottleneck here? Take a little break if you want to think about it yourself. Otherwise, I will go to the next slide. Here we go. I think the biggest bottleneck is the cost per click, €4.52. It's not bad. It's okay for LinkedIn ads. Yeah, everybody who has just been doing ads on Facebook and Instagram are going to be like, oh my God, what's up with the €4 click? No, this is normal in the LinkedIn land, but still we had a click-through rate, an average of 0.5%. And this could usually be bumped up to 1%. If you have a good engaging ad, this is a KPI to go for, 1% click-through rate in the newsfeed. And the other even bigger bottleneck, I believe, is the 0.6% conversion rate to the call scheduled on the landing page. So 101 visitors only converted to one call being scheduled. Yeah, if you're lucky, this one becomes a customer, but it doesn't have to be. So this is absolutely unacceptable, and this is where I would focus on. And during this meetup, we are going to look at every single step in this funnel, and we're going to focus on 3 focus areas where I would say, like, okay, if you made the decision on the advertising level, on the website level, and on the email follow-up level, I'm going to show you the nitty-gritties that have helped me to build more consistent and higher performing funnels. So if that sounds cool to you, head over to YouTube, where we're going to upload all of the videos and where you can watch the videos from the past. It would be awesome if you'd leave a sub and a like over there, and feel free to ask your questions also there in the comments. All right, so this is the first segment that we looked at. We started the journey of optimizing your B2B lead generation with finding the bottleneck. And in the next part, we're going to talk about how to concretely increase the engagement of your paid ads. You can also apply this to your organic posts, yeah, but we're going to look through it from the lens of personal ads. So if you have some questions, then you can head now over to Slido. Let's look over there and see if there are already some questions in there. If you haven't followed along yet, then go to slido.com, enter the code R, and you will end up here. And we got 4 questions, which is just as many as we had when we started this live stream. That means that needs to change. Yeah, so if you are watching this live stream right now, please do me a favor and head over to slido.com, enter the code R, and upvote some of the questions that you are most interested in. And if some questions arise for you that are applicable to your specific case, I'm absolutely excited to hear them and to answer them at the end of this meetup. Cool. So let's head back. The second part of this series about B2B lead generation is where we talk about increasing the engagement of your lead generation ads. Yeah, it's a magic way how to make people click on those ads, and there is a system to get that magic working for you, and I really want to show you how I go about doing this. So again, here we have some steps that we go through. It's quite a systematic way, especially with paid advertising. Everything can be broken down into numbers, but you need your creativity to do something to change the numbers. So the first thing I do is I'm looking through my ads and looking for low engagement ads. That means I'm opening up my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my Google Ads Manager, and I look for certain numbers in my ads. Here you can see a screenshot. Let me just read some out for you because it's pretty small. Like, what's the average click-through rate? How many reactions, comments, shares, follows, other social interactions are going on here? So let me introduce you just to the KPIs, to the 5 KPIs I look for most when I'm judging the engagement of the ad. So some people already here are going to ask, Ben, why engagement? Why don't you talk just about the conversion rate? Yeah, because most of the time the problem is that people do not even click on your ad. They do not engage with it, they don't like it, they don't comment it, and zero engagement usually means zero click-through rate. But still, of course, click-through rate is the king here. And this is going to be the most important KPI for me. How many people out of 100 are going to click on your ad? On Facebook, I definitely try to stay above 1%. If you see your ad significantly below 1%, no matter which platform you're on, and we are talking about newsfeed ads, yeah, then you really have a problem and you need to do something more engaging, and I'm going to show you what in a little bit. So on display ads, it can be completely different. If you have banners on the internet, if you have like 0.2%, it's totally fine. But if you have a newsfeed ad, which I would highly recommend to start with, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram newsfeed, aim for the plus 1% click-through rate. And then I look at the ratio of the money I've spent. Let's say I have spent €100 on an ad. I expect a certain amount of reactions, comments, and shares. So the first question is, does your post entice any reactions, comments, or shares at all? And this is the biggest problem. Most people just do not give a thing about your ads. And this is where you need to change and become creative and become more enticing and emotional in the way you talk to people on social media. If you can't make them care about your ad, either that they love it or hate it, it's very hard to get any kind of commitment afterwards. So a good signal ratio from like euro spent to reactions, comments, and shares is a good indicator that you have a high or low engaging ad. Again, what are the benchmarks? €1 per engagement. That is the minimum I'm looking for. Any engagement, yeah, comments, likes, shares. Of course, I prefer comments and shares over reactions. And then last but not least, there are follows, especially on Instagram. We talked about it a couple of meetups ago, how to generate followers with with Instagram ads in a very, very interesting way, where you can get like followers for like 10-20 cents and cheaper. This is, of course, also very important engagement because this builds up your organic reach over time. And especially on platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram, followers still really mean something. And all your paid efforts can be turned off just by not spending any money on it. But the organic stuff keeps growing. Yeah, and that is something that I always want to build up on the side. So that's part one. Watch out for those engagement KPIs and then do something about it. And that is, of course, what we are going to answer now. So in order to do something about it, you have to understand what your options are, what you can actually change. And here we got a screenshot from a LinkedIn ad setup. And you can already see that you got certain fields that you can access and some that you don't. You see that we have like a description, a picture, title, a call to action. I summed them up in order of importance, I think. Yeah. So the first thing people are going to see is the description that you are writing, either that or the image or video. Those two are by far the most important aspects of your ad. Probably the image or video even more, because that needs to grab the attention and then people read the introductory description. And there you can start playing. So what kind of image or video is going to work for you? Is it going to be pictures of people? Is it atmospheric shots? Is it animated stuff? Is it slides? Are those carousels? Are those PDFs? You have to find out what does your audience really like and engage with. And you can test it very easily. And I'm going to show you how in a later step. And then you can play with the text that you're writing. You can write short text, you can write long text, you can put in emojis, you can be emotional, you can ask questions, you can just state stuff, you can try to do controversial versus just like normal expression. And then you have the headline. The headline is usually below the video. Let me just switch back to the slide before. The headline is the line of text below the image, and on the right hand side is the call to action. So this headline can be like a little summary or call to action. Now press this button, now go to this survey, get this lead magnet for free, PDF, those kind of triggers. And then you have the call to action button where you can usually decide between like download, subscribe, buy, sign up, learn more. I'm a huge fan of learn more. And then the last piece, which is not actually really a part of the engagement, is the destination URL. Where do people actually end? But of course, in terms of your conversion funnel, it makes a huge difference where you send your people. Just only matters after the click. So I put that in parentheses. So playing with those 4 variables at the top, that's going to be your playground. And now the question is, what exactly should you do there? There's a nice saying in the artist world that is called steal like an artist. And that is a phrase that is meaning like, look at what other good people are doing and adopt it and study it and make it your own style. Yeah, that is stealing like an artist. The wonderful little book. And one amazing place that you can see here is the LinkedIn search, where you can search for content. And since we were talking about the case study of Monday Rocks, of course I was looking for something in the direction of team development. And when I typed in team development and searched for content, I found a post that has a ridiculous 60,000 reactions and a couple of thousand comments. And you can study those posts and you can see, were they just from a big account, from a huge influencer? No, in this case not. What make people tick? And you can make like a leaderboard of the best posts that you have ever seen and that you have produced yourself. And that way you can study what other people are doing, and there are great resources to discover high engaging ads. So one example I already told you, like pages from industry leaders. It doesn't even need to be in your industry. It doesn't need to be in your language. You can just transfer that to your own way and for your audience. The LinkedIn content search is great. The LinkedIn hashtags are getting better and better. So everybody who has used LinkedIn has gotten those notifications about this post is trending in this hashtag that you follow. Follow all the hashtags that are important to you, and then you will see the posts that are getting attention. And of course, it's often because the accounts who publish them are big, but more often than not, they are just posts that really got some traction and reactions from the community, even from a small account. You can see it just by checking out the number of followers and usual reactions. And this is how you find out what is working right now on those platforms. And you have an unlimited supply, essentially, of content ideas from the hashtags. And then there are platforms like BuzzSumo, where you can find the most shared content on a certain topic. Or you have tools like Canva that help you to design posts and that already have a huge library of stuff to show you. Let me just show you Canva for a second. And this is also the next step. Like Canva is my favorite tool to design posts, not only image posts, but by now they also do animations and video posts, PDFs, and we do most of them in Canva. And the reason is that we do not want to make it too hard for us to create good-looking posts. I cannot tell you how many people are telling me, yeah, I need to give this to my designer. Yeah, I need to put it in the pipeline of the agency. And I'm always like, really? Is that it? Do you always have to wait for your designer to get something through? Like a week or two? That's not the speed that we need to work at. What you need to get your designer to do is to create awesome templates that you can use in order to create something that is important, that is cool for your brand, yeah, and that you stay on brand. That is important, I agree. But you need to be able to create like 5 pieces in an hour. Yeah, that is the speed that we need to work at. And Canva is really a tool that helped me. And along with Canva, there are some other tools that I've found very useful in the past and that I've seen in projects work really great. So if you're already in the Adobe world, yeah, like you have Photoshop, InDesign, all that good jazz, then there is something very similar to Canva called Spark, spark.adobe.com, great iOS and Android app that also does great animations of text and images, backgrounds. Then there is Magisto from Vimeo. I think Magisto is actually the best way to sign up for Vimeo because it's a free video editing tool online that comes with a Vimeo subscription that is actually cheaper than on the Vimeo page. Then there is Storyblocks. Storyblocks.com is a page where even Hollywood producers go to get sound effects, stock images, stock videos. It's insanely cheap. I think last time I checked it was below $200 per year to get access to this whole video library. And if you're wondering like, oh yeah, but I need to pay now creatives to produce all of this kind of stuff, start with stock stuff. This is really good stock stuff, not the boring stuff. And then switch over to your own content production system. And if those tools are not enough for you, there's Product Hunt. Product Hunt, I created a link here on, if you downloaded the slides, where you can get to the Product Hunt search for this kinds of design tools. It's just insane. It's a ranked list of design tools for all kinds of things. So if you're interested in more tools for this, knock yourself out on Product Hunt. It's a great place to get lost in tool hunting. Okay, let me sum up. So to increase the engagement on your lead generation ads, you first want to identify the ones that are not engaging that well in your campaign manager. Then you need to understand the options like your description, your image, your headline, your call to action, and what you're supposed to change about it. You can then get inspiration and steal like an artist. And then very important, not make it too hard on yourself. Your content creation process needs to be something, come on, let's knock out 5 awesome pieces of content per day at the minimum. Yeah. And then you can test a lot of variations. So testing a lot of variations, I didn't talk about specifically because we talked about testing variations a lot during the LinkedIn advertising meetup. And this of course means that when you have your campaign set up and you got 5 different ideas for content, you can create 5 different ads and see who gets the most reactions, best click-through rate, cheapest cost per click, highest conversion rate. And this is where you get deeper into the testing. So if that already sounded cool to you, then head over to getpirateskids.com/optimizing-leads. This is where you can download the slide deck. You can also watch all of the videos that we upload from the past meetups on YouTube, and it would be awesome if you would leave a sub and a like over there. So now we looked at the first 2 steps of optimizing your B2B lead generation, like finding the bottleneck. And usually the first bottleneck is your traffic source. Can be paid, can be organic, but if people don't care and don't engage, they won't convert at all. The next step is what happens when they actually click through away from those social platforms to your landing page. Then you need to sign them up. You need to get their attention, you need to get their commitment. This is what we're going to talk about in the next part. So let's check out if you got some questions. So if you go to slido.com, enter the code R, this is the place where you can go and ask questions and upvote the ones over there. Let me just show you how this works. If you're not already signed up, let's say you've got your Google open. Just go to slido.com, enter the code AARR, and voila. You can see here that you can ask questions, upvote questions, and everything that I'm explaining here might not be very clear, and you can just keep on asking questions over here. That would be really awesome. So we got some fantastic questions to an answer at the end. All right, we already got 4 lined up. Let's get on to the next part. So raising the sign up rate on your landing page, that is what most people think about when they think about conversion rate optimization in the context of B2B lead generation. Lots of people have this problem that they have a website, but people are just not doing what they're supposed to be doing on this landing page. And I want to show you a couple of steps that I take very frequently on every single project, including my own website, to increase that sign up rate, to get a visitor to enter your CRM. Yeah, we have like contact data, email, of course, everything with their consent. So the first step, and by far the easiest one, when you haven't done this before, is to look at your landing page with open eyes and especially ask other people to use your landing page and watch them, and to reduce every single piece of friction that there is. Here again, we use the case study Monday Rocks, the B2B team development app. You can check out their landing page at monday.rocks. And you see, this is a great designed landing page. Yeah, it's very clear what you're supposed to do here. You can view the pricing, you schedule an appointment. So you could already argue that having 2 call to actions causes some friction because you have to make a decision. So it can be argued that you want one landing page for this, one landing page for that, and keep that separate. But you can absolutely test that if 2 call to actions work better than 1. More often than not, single call to action works the best. So, but what are some general rules that I follow to reduce friction? There is an amazing book called Don't Make Me Think, and the title says it all. If your user has to think about, what does this headline mean? I don't understand this image. Do I have to pay something when I press this button? Then the game is already over. Yeah, if you make your users think too hard, then your conversion rate will suffer. You can argue that you do want to cause some friction in order to get higher qualified leads. For example, having more sign-up fields, yeah, by asking them how many employees they have, what job title they have, in which industry they are working in. Yes, you can do this if you have the awesome problem of having too many leads. But we are talking today from the perspective of, shit, something is not working in the lead generation department. So don't make me think. First rule number 1. Then removing every unnecessary step. This is the place where I got a nice technique from my fellow growth marketing friend Hendrik Lennartz. He forces his teams to print out every single screen or page that a user has to go through and put it up on a wall. And what you usually end up with are like 20 steps that a user has to take in order to get any kind of value out of that. And then we look at the wall and say, like, this needs to go, this needs to go, this needs to go. But maybe we need to add some steps to make it more transparent, easier to understand for the user in order to increase the conversion rates. But it's not only about subtracting, but really having the essentials lined up and not having anything that is unnecessary. And this can be steps, yeah, like real landing page steps, but all clicks that are unnecessary in the journey are also try to avoid. Then minimizing the form fields. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. And then have a good consent banner. We are absolutely in an e-privacy and GDPR time. And if your consent banner sucks, that is the place where you ask people like, hey, do you want to be tracked for the rest of your life or not? Or you need to get more people than say no to say, yes, I want to be tracked for your analytics to work. If this experience sucks, or for example, what I see very often, let's say you have a mobile device and the lower third is covered by your consent banner, you would usually think that people would make a decision, but they don't. Most people will just try to use the little square that is up there and try to avoid making any kind of decisions on that cookie banners. So having a good solution over there is paramount in this time. So, but what else makes it? First rule was try to reduce friction where you can. The second rule is offer something of value. This sounds so fucking stupid, but it is the one thing that is missing the most. So what did we have on the landing page before? In the case study of Money Rocks, we asked people to schedule an appointment in order to buy a product that they might not yet know whether or not they need it. Instead, we made a decision to, in order to increase the lead generation effort, that we first provide something of value with as few strings attached as possible. And in this case, we decided for a little PDF presentation that is like the 4x4 of employee motivation. It's very easy to understand, very easy to preview, and this is the complete landing page that you already see there. It just has like an imprint and a data privacy at the bottom that I cut out. So if you want to check that out, go to mondayrocks.4x4. So what could be something of value that you could offer? So people love our checklist PDFs, explainer posters where you explain like a process or a roadmap to success in the problem and solution that you are providing. People love book recommendation lists. They do not love free strategy calls as much as they used to. This used to be the shit that you say like, hey, do you want a free strategy session? But in some industry, this is simply has been abused. If you're, for example, in the coaching industry, you can forget about it. But if you're in an industry that has not too many marketers destroying this tactic, offering a free call is an amazing way to get in touch with the people. And if you want more ideas, I linked up one of my favorite lists, 69 ideas from Opt-in Monster. If you want to check that out, just download the slides. The link is here in the description, somewhere on the comments. And there is just a huge list of lead gen ideas that you might get to use for yourself. The next thing is small commitments first, big commitments later. I see lots of form fields that just have like 8 different fields that filled out and like 3 checkboxes to make. And you really need to consider, if you have not enough leads coming in, do I need all of those form fields? Do I not want to reduce it to the fundamental ones? Here you see the form field that we built for the 4x4 employee motivation PDF. It's just a name, first name, last name, email, consent for data processing, consent for the newsletter, and then the submit button. That is today the minimum. Yeah. So first name, last name, email, if you must, company, but you can usually tell which company it is from the email addresses. But let's say your sign up form, people are using more private emails, then ask them for the company, that's fine. And then this is a big opportunity. First of all, we are required for the consent for data processing, and then give them a chance to opt into your newsletter. Yeah, it is currently not fully clear what's legal, what's not, but my understanding at the moment that we cannot make this a required field to opt them into a newsletter, but to ask them to opt in. And this is a big chance for people to follow up after they got the lead magnet. And if you shared something of value and you are showing them that you're willing to give first and then ask later, then they're gonna want to join your newsletter list. All right, the next part is focusing on a great headline, on the header fold. This is the first screen that people see either on desktop or mobile. So why focus on this? I see a lot of people building landing pages with like 8 different folds below each other. 50% of people are not going to scroll down. Just let that sink in. Like 75% of people will not scroll below like the third fold. That means the action is happening at the top. If you do not write an exciting headline, a short description, and something that is catchy in the call to action, people will just leave your website. And all you need to do, like as we did on this landing page, this is an extremely minimal landing page that is high converting. Title, that is 4x4 of like employee motivation, a description of what they're getting, that is enticing and curiosity building, and then a call to action, making sure they understand that it's free, and then a little image on the right hand side. And that is all you need for a simple landing page. And if that's already working, then you can switch over and create more folds if you really must. So let's turn on the brightness a little bit on here. I got this awesome ring. So I think this is a little bit better, right? Sina, are you happy with that? Is that awesome? All right, I'm very yellow today. I wonder why that is. So besides focusing on your header fold, you should focus on a mobile first experience. If you're doing any kind of advertising, you have to face this new reality that on Facebook, Instagram it's 100% mobile traffic. Facebook is like 80% mobile traffic. LinkedIn, it's more than half of mobile traffic. So go for a mobile first experience. And the advantage of going for mobile first is that you also have an awesome desktop layout. Desktop layouts, if you start with that first, has the tendency to cram too much information into one space. And that is against the don't make me think rule. So this is a simple view from the mobile experience. You see, we don't have any fancy background images. The image on the right hand side is below the call to action because the priority is on making it understandable what's supposed to happen here and what you're supposed to do. Press the orange button. And I always say that you should put your call to action button on a thumb friendly way. Yeah, so you have your mobile device here. If you hold it like this, you know that people are having their button, their thumbs, not at the very bottom, not at the top, but like in the lower third. And this is where I would put your call to action on a mobile view of your website. Then on mobile, it's really hard to read any text on a fancy background image. And I hear teams argue days what kind of images are supposed to be used. And I'm just telling them, for fuck's sake, just choose a color that you like or a texture, and that's it. Nobody can see what's on the background image in a mobile first world. Of course, there's some exceptional like video background images, but there are some good arguments against that, like page speed load. Yeah, that is going to suffer for that. And just focus on the text, make a text-centric layout, and minimize any kind of navigation that you have at the top. And don't have your logo like take up like imagine this is the whole screen that you can see, and like I see navigation bars that are this thick. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. So have that minimized as much as possible, and then have a centered consent banner. And this centered consent banner is very important because you want to force people to make a decision on your consent banner. If you just keep it on the lower end, it will just screw up your design. People will try to avoid making that decision, and that will not help you with tracking or your conversion rate optimization. All right, so let's keep going. Let's sum up here. So raising the sign-up rate of your landing pages goes in 5 steps for me. It's like reducing any types of friction, offer something that people truly value before you ask them, make small commitments first before you ask them for bigger commitments, focus on a great header fold at the top, and go for a mobile first experience. That's it. So if you want to take some more time to go through the slides, I just put them up on getpirateskills.com/optimizing-leads. There you can download the slides for free. You can also see all of the past videos that we have uploaded there, and you can also check out those videos on our YouTube channel. And if you're over there, then please leave a sub there. We just are going to hit the 500 mark today. And I would really appreciate if you engage more over there on this platform. We really believe that YouTube and LinkedIn are the future platforms for pirate skills. So we've looked at the bottleneck. We have talked about increasing the engagement rate. And now we fixed our sign-up rate on our landing page. But what happens afterwards? Now you got the lead. People actually got your lead magnet. You got their email, contact data. You hopefully got the consent for a follow-up. And now what I want you to do is to create and optimize your email sequence that comes after the opt-in, because the opt-in is just the beginning. We're going to talk about that in the next part. So let's head over to the questions section. Oh yeah, and we got some new question coming in. Let me share with you. So we got some upvotes here. Marcel asked questions about e-privacy and TikTok. Oh, that's going to be a tough one to answer. But please just add your questions at slido.com, enter the code R, and there you can upvote the questions from the other people, and you can ask your own questions about your specific situation. And you can even ask your questions in the B2C area. So that is not forced to be just about B2B lead generation. So if you have any growth marketing question, feel free to add them today here at slido.com, and we will answer those questions in order of upvotes at the end. All right, last part. So optimizing the email sequences and the follow-up after you have generated a lead. That is the last part of this series about optimizing your B2B lead generation game. So for me, the journey of an email sequence starts with a double opt-in experience. Maybe you're watching this from outside the EU, but here most countries just have to confirm email addresses before they are allowed to put them into a CRM and to keep on following up. So this is actually where I want to start and where I have tested all kinds of stuff. I just want to show you the good double opt-in process that I found out for myself that I really like and that helped me to increase the double opt-in rate great amount of times. So we looked at the case study of Monday Rocks. If you want to check that out, I go to monday.rocks/4x4, and there we have a sign up form with a lead magnet. And once people have consented and said yes, they also want to get follow-up emails, they need to confirm their email address in order to get their lead magnet. This is the choice that I have made in order to generate more qualified leads. But what happens after the consent? What do you think? What should people experience? Should they get the PDF immediately per email? Should they download, get to a download page now? No, my best experience is putting them on a boring page. I very consciously call this the boring page. It's usually just a confirm page where you just say like monday.rocks/4x4/ please confirm. And all you say is you have to do one more click, go to your email, no navigation, no chance to get distracted. Just open your email inbox and confirm your emails. This stupid, simple, boring page has increased my double opt-in rates by as much as 20%. So try it out. It's also a great place for your tracking pixels. Let's say you have consent from your users, and when people click and go to the boring page and have not confirmed their email yet, they are still very likely to do this. Yeah, like 70-80% double opt-in rate is normal. But this is the cleanest place for tracking the lead generation because there is no other channel involved. They just went from one landing page to the next one. Very easy to track for any pixel. No trouble here. So this is really something I like to put in the middle. That could be interpreted as an extra step, but this is one of the few extra steps that actually increases the conversion rate. So then they get a confirmation email. Hey, please, do you want to really get this? Then confirm your email address. Yes, you want it. This should be just focus on the point, if possible, personalized to the lead magnet that you have promised. And then you send them to a thank you page. This is where you tell your pixels, oh yeah, I got a verified double opt-in. It's not just a single opt-in on the boring page, it's a double opt-in. And this is the real success page. And of course you want to send them the email with the PDF, but in my experience, this can sometimes take a few minutes and this pisses people off. So I usually give them what I promised them here. And then I also send them a first welcome email with a value I promised. And I deliberately call this the first welcome email, because it's always the start of an email workflow of something that that is just the start of a longer journey. So let's just give you the overview of this double opt-in process. You have a landing page, then you have a confirmation page, the so-called boring page. Then you send them a double opt-in confirmation email. Then you have a landing page with a thank you, and then you have the welcome email. This, in my experience, is the best for tracking, the best for conversion experience, the best to increase the double opt-in rate. But then they get this lead magnet, the awesome PDF. This is just the very beginning. Now, this is a screenshot from Sendinblue. This is the email marketing tool that we use in case of Monday Rocks, and it's a tool from France, which means it's within the EU. So if you have discussions about the usage of MailChimp, for example, and are worried about using US tools, check out Sendinblue. I'm quite impressed with what they are doing and what this tool is capable of. I've actually become a fan. I personally use ActiveCampaign, but I don't mind using US tools. But because of current rulings, yeah, we might have to rediscuss that. So as you can see here in this screenshot, adding somebody to a contact list is usually a place where you say like, oh yeah, this is part of a sequence that people are getting. Do they get a newsletter? Do they not get a newsletter? Do you want to give them a lead score? All this kind of jazz starts here right after that. And then you never stop sending emails until they opt out. Of course, you don't want to annoy them, but you never want to stop providing value. You want to add additional lead magnets at the end. You want to send them reminders if you have more information about their behavior on their website, on other opt-ins, on email activity, on transactions that they have done. So just keep on nurturing that lead until they have developed the trust for you to then really make a call with you. And I would say in most B2B cases, the call should be the goal of lead generation. Making qualified appointments with your sales team. Of course, if you have a complete self-checkout sign-up software as a service thing, the goal is to just generate people that sign up for your subscription. But in most cases, in the higher ticket stuff, it is about talking to people and sitting together at a table or making a remote presentation. So using a tool like Calendly or HubSpot or Acuity Scheduling, it doesn't matter what you're using, I just like Calendly, is making it so much easier for your users to pick a date that fits for themselves. You don't have all this shenanigans about, oh, you do have time on Tuesday or Thursday, 11, You just give them the option. So this is the goal of the process, for me at least. And then the last thing I want to just leave you with is like give, ask in this process. We talked about this quite a few times throughout the past meetups. It goes back to the last Pirate Summit where like Till Orman and Manuel Kuhlmann talked about this very, very passionately. You have to understand that this lead generation process is about giving your audience what they want and what they need. So you might not agree completely with what people want, but you have to start there. You have to empathize with people and take them from what they want to what they need, and to help them wherever you can to get them to their goal. So I usually visualize the customer journey like a person that is here at the status quo, and he wants to get there. And there are lots of steps and hurdles in between. And maybe your product solves this problem. And all the little problems before that could be interesting lead magnets and points where you can help your audience to earn the trust that they allow you to solve their problem for them. And do stuff that doesn't scale. Sit together with them, have a lunch with them. Just help them out. You can't imagine how many leads and customers I get just from helping people that are never going to be my customer ever at all. I know that, but they going to be your ambassadors. And if you are not too strict about who you give your lead magnets to, who you're going to share it with, who you're going to take time to help, it will give you more chances to make an offer. And those offers should be a very clear win-win situation for both parties. And then you will do all of the lead generation, all of the sales with a very clear conscience, because you know both sides are winning on this. And it just feels so much better than just those sleazy douchebag marketers selling you shit that you don't need at prices that are unreasonable. So let me just give that as a last thing and sum up. So optimizing the lead sequences starts with a good double opt-in process. Then you have good lead magnets that are just the beginning of the journey. You just keep on sending nurturing sequences where you build the trust, earn, and provide value. And the goal is to get them to a call or a demo of some kind, or to sign up for a free trial, and to keep that mindset of giving first and asking later. That sounds cool to you? Then head out over to our YouTube channel, where we got a lot of videos coming up that are going to be interested about that. In the next quarter, we're going to shoot a lot about B2C e-commerce. Going to talk about that in a moment. So, because that's going to be the big next sequence of the Pirate Skills meetups. So this concludes it. Now we have talked about what is, in my opinion, like the key factors of optimizing B2B leads. Finding the bottleneck, increasing your engagement, raising the sign-up rate, optimizing your email series, and that should fix most people's problems. If you have any more questions, you can wait for the next part where we get into the Q&A for B2B lead generation. See you there. All right, so welcome to the B2B lead generation Q&A. We usually start this with the feedback. Head over to slido.com, where you can also ask and upload the questions in a moment. Let me just show you how this looks like if you go to Slido. Here we already got some questions lined up. Let me just start the poll. I'll just keep this poll up and running, and you're just going to be asked, like, how likely would you recommend this event to a friend or colleague? It gives us an idea of, was this helpful for you, or should we rather do something different? Feel free to send us messages on Discord or via LinkedIn or email. That helps us to make this the most awesome meetup that we can make for you. And just keep this running. I'll head up over to the questions, and I'm going to start answering them. So the first question that we have is this. Do I really, let me make this big. Do I really need a lead gen funnel? Can't I just do sales? All right, so I'm very glad when I hear this question. Why am I happy? If your sales stuff is already working, then you've done the necessary stuff. You have a product that is selling. That is the hardest part to actually get off the ground. And you're actually able, once you have a lead, to convert that lead. Sales, especially in B2B, is by far the most important part of this whole user journey equation. until they become a customer. So you can absolutely get by with just making sales. But why would you? Do you want to keep on knocking on doors, or would you like people to knock on your door and ask you, hey, can you help me? Here's some money. I really prefer the latter way. And I like to have a mix. Inbound leads, that is like the dream of all the salespeople. Just having people line up and telling you, how can you help me? I'm interested. I've seen your stuff. I'm trusting you enough to get in touch with you. Can you really help me at a price that I can afford? And a price that I can afford usually means, can I trust you enough to provide more value than I'm paying for? So this all builds on your ability to later convert them in a sales call, for example. And so you can absolutely get by, but your world as a salesperson and as a company becomes so much easier and so much more scalable once you start introducing a real lead generation funnel. Cool. So let's check that off. The next question. What are the most important bottlenecks with lead generation in your experience? So you have watched the meetup. If you haven't, go back to the past videos and check those out. We talked about very distinctive bottlenecks that I see. So usually it starts with, I do not have enough traffic. Not having enough traffic comes from two things. Either you are not spending any money on advertising, or you do not have a following on social media platforms, or you do not have an email list, you do not have access to an audience of another person. So looking at those options to generate traffic, this is where you need to go through. And of course, we talk a lot about paid traffic. But let's leave that. I saw another question that relates to that as well. So making sure that you have a solid traffic source that you can rely on is absolutely paramount. The next part, as we talked about in the meetup, is having a cool place for users to go beyond your profiles on social media. So having a landing page, having a website that people can interact with you, having a place where they can watch videos, get more resources, can make commitments, can make appointments. So, and overall, your website and landing page experience, that is another bottleneck that I frequently see. This part just sucks. And then the last one is people having email lists but doing nothing with them. Seriously, like hundreds of people who have already said, yes, I want to get your newsletter. But for whatever reason, people are not sending regular updates. And those lists become cold, as we say. You need to keep engaged with those people, even if not 100% open your emails. It's already good if 30 to 50% open your email. This just is a reminder, and they should hear something from you in B2B at the minimum once per month. I would prefer once per week or every other week. So those three things are, in my opinion, the biggest bottleneck in lead generation in most projects that I'm involved with. All right, let's get to the next question. So you only talk about paid traffic. What about organic channels? So I talk a lot about paid traffic because I think it's the hardest and the most rewarding if you can get them to work. Why is that? So imagine I could build you a machine where you put in €1,000 and you get 2,000 back. That's paid traffic in conversion funnels. That's exactly what we are trying to build. But since it is so awesome, if you had a machine like that, everybody's trying to build it, and everybody is bidding for the same people on the same keywords, same audiences with similar content. And this equalizes things over time. So, but when I talked about, for example, paid traffic on LinkedIn, 6 meetups before that, I talked about the best content marketing strategy on LinkedIn, because I believe content marketing on organic channels come first, and paid traffic comes second. Why is that? So organic traffic and organic engagement is like the guitar. It is truth. It is, do you get engagement from users or are you not getting engagement? It is absolutely the honest thing. If people ignore you, they ignore you. But with paid traffic, you can enforce engagement, but at a price, of course. But it's much better if you have a well-tuned guitar and a song worth playing that you then attach to an amplifier, which is paid traffic, and then make 1 million people hear that song. That is the way I think about it. So go for organic channels first. We have several meetups in the past where we talked about this. And then you just add fuel to this flame. Cool. Okay, hope this answers that question. The next one is, were you disappointed, and were you as disappointed as I by last night's Apple event? Guys, did you see this shit? Yeah, so I think that says it all. Next question. E-privacy and TikTok, what do you think about this? So, my opinion, not my legal advice on this is, users that sign up for TikTok consent to their terms of service. And this is what TikTok is responsible for. If you do TikTok ads and people have opted into those terms of service, you are responsible of what happens after the click, not what happens before the click. Of course, if we're talking about generating leads with lead gen ads like on Facebook, where the form is on the platform, this would be an e-privacy discussion. But until you have personal information, person identifiable information, PPI, until you have that, you do not have to worry about e-privacy. Yeah, it's just normal user behavior that you can take a look at. Only when this personal information is involved, and that usually only happens on your website with the cookies that you are using, with the forms that you are submitting, with the sign-up process that you have over there. So I think doing TikTok and doing ads is fine in my opinion. But there are legal counsels and data privacy guys that are absolute 100% seriously saying that you're supposed to delete your Facebook page. And I'm just not that kind of guy. Yeah, so you can be too careful about this. And I would definitely say, in my opinion, I would do this. I'm taking the entrepreneurial risk on that. Okay, last question. Thank you for everybody who's provided some questions so far. So last question. How do you approach a traditional B2B company, like SME company, let's say like 50 to 500 employees, which is in the market since years and producing a physical product for another manufacturer? Okay, very good point. What you want to do is you want to become the thought leader and expert for your type of product and where you build your product. Manufacturers are buying from you because they think you have excellent quality, you're reliable, you have good prices, and you stand for something. You stand for something in your industry. And this is what you should communicate in all of your marketing. Take 1 or 2 people in your company, for example, the CEO and somebody that is very, very much looking outward, and build them up as influencers on platforms like LinkedIn. And even if you think that the manufacturers, they are not on LinkedIn, they are. Yeah, there are so many people worldwide there, and there are so many hidden champions in Germany that are producing some little nips and knobs and little technologies that are being exported worldwide, but they are for a reason called hidden champions. And communicating that, making your process that is probably world class more visible, like Porsche does it, for example. I love how they communicate the engineering aspects. Take a look from that book and build 1 or 2 people up in the company and take this hiddenness out of that and become the public champion that you deserve to be. So that is my opinion on that approach. I would go back to the LinkedIn Content Magic meetup and start there, and then go to the LinkedIn advertising meetup and then watch this one here. Cool. Okay, that was the last question. Guys, thank you so much for asking so many questions. Let me just invite you to the upcoming meetup. So this was the end of an era. The last 6 meetups were all about B2B, and now we want to go back into the fun world of B2C, and a place in the B2C world that is just a learning pool for growth marketers. So e-commerce, having online shops, having online checkouts is so rewarding because you usually make money faster from your customers than the advertising platform want that money from you. Yeah, so the theme of this of the upcoming 6 meetups is going to be doubling your e-commerce profits. And I will show you 15 very concrete growth marketing tactics throughout the customer journey, just as we looked at it today for B2B, but very concrete tactics with at least 3 case studies that I've prepared for you. And in the upcoming meetup on September 30th, we are going to show you an overview of those 15 tactics so you can start applying them. And in the upcoming 5 meetups after the first one, we are going to show you every time like 3 of those tactics in depth with case studies, with real results, with implementation guides. If that sounds cool to you, then head over to get.pirateskills.com/profits and just register for a free ticket, and we will keep you notified. I'm really excited about this series, and I really hope to see you there. And if you can't get enough of this stuff, then you can also join us in this journey in the workshops. We have a series of 6 workshops that go with these 6 topics, like building a growth roadmap, building a solid content marketing and storytelling strategy, building funnels, setting up your analytics, setting up conversion campaigns on advertising platforms, doing conversion rate optimization and A/B testing. This is the stuff that we love to talk about. And if you're interested in getting much more hands-on, go to growth.pirateskills.com and just check out if the workshop series is something you want to do. So that's it for today. That was optimizing B2B lead generation. I really appreciate your participation, and I hope to see you next time in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.